This video is about the 1-5-6-4 chord progression, which is really important in a lot of pop songs, country songs, used a lot. So chords are numbered. So the 1 chord is the starting chord of any scale. So if we're in the key of C, the 1 chord is C. And the 5 chord will be G. The 6 chord will be A minor, which is also known as the relative minor, and the 4 chord will be F. So 1-5-6-4 in the key of C is C, G, A minor, and F. And if you're trying to figure out chords, these are the ones to look for, because these are the most commonly used chords. So an example of this would be, there's a song by Brandi Carlile called The Story, and it pretty much uses these chords. There's a little turnaround at the end. So to think of these chords in other keys, you just need to understand the 1-5-6-4 pattern. So let's move up to the key of D, and the 1 chord will be D, the 5 chord will be A, the 6 chord will be B minor, and the 4 chord will be G. And an example of a song in this key would be With or Without You by U2. Started out, I was just kind of doing a root and fifth pattern of the chords. I wasn't playing the full chords. The root and fifth are known as power chords, or sometimes they're called 5 chords like D5 or A5 or B5. So if I just play string 4 open and the 3rd string at the 2nd fret, the A note, and then just move that over. So this is a D power chord. Power chord would just be the B and the F sharp notes on strings 5 and 4 at the 2nd fret for the B note and the 4th fret for the F sharp note. And then the G power chord would be on strings 6 and 5 at frets 3 and 5. So that's still 1-5-6-4. D, A, B minor, G. And for either of these keys, either for C or D, if you want to play in another key, you could just use the capo. The other key I want to cover is G. So in the key of G, the 1 chord is G, the 5 chord is D. The 6 minor chord is E minor. The 4 chord is C. So an example of this would be Wagon Wheel. And there's a little turnaround there. G, D, C. They leave out the minor in that part of the song. But also, if you needed to do Wagon Wheel in A, you would just capo 2 and then play the G forms, G, D, E minor, and C chord shapes but you'd really be playing in the key of A. Another example, 1, 5, 6, 4 in the key of G, using the power chord forms, is the Green Day song "When I Come Around." And I'm just doing the power chord forms of the chords. So G, D, E, C. And I'm just using 2 fingers for those. 2 fingers, 2 strings, 2 the power chords. And that has another little section to it that goes down to A. But that's just another example of the 1, 5, 6, 4 in the key of G. And one other example, in the key of G, a lot of people will make the G chord with 2 fingers on strings 1 and 2. So they'll use their little finger on string 1 at the 3rd fret, their ring finger on string 2 at the 3rd fret, and then the rest will be the index finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and the middle finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret. Sometimes this is called a G5 chord, just because if you muffle the 5th string and don't play the B note on the 5th string, you're really just playing G, D, G, D, G. You're just playing G's and D's, which is basically what a power chord is. There's no third. The third of the chord is the note that determines whether the chord is major or minor. So in the key of G, or in the G chord, it's the B note that changes it to a minor chord. But that's another story. So say, I just want to show these chord shapes. In the key of G, a lot of times people will use this form of the G chord with 2 fingers on strings 1 and 2 instead of just the more basic form. And then that allows you to go right to the D chord by keeping your ring finger on the 2nd string. And then another variation that sometimes people will use in this format is an E minor 7 form. And that's kind of like the G chord, only with your 2nd finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and your 1st finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. And then another variation is to go to a C add 9 chord, which is made by keeping your little finger and your ring finger on the 1st and 2nd string, your 1st finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and your 2nd finger on the 5th string, 3rd fret. And this is a pattern that Taylor Swift uses a lot. Songs like "We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together" and many others that Taylor has written with this chord progression. Also, a lot of country songs, a lot of modern country songs use this kind of progression too. This progression with the 2 fingers on strings 1 and 2. And sometimes the progression may be changed around a little bit. Maybe it might start with the E minor. Go to the C, then G. So that's another version of these same chords, just it's a, just changing the order around. But basically, the focus of this video is 1, 5, 6, 4. So knowing the 1, 5, 6, 4 chords in C, D, and G is really helpful, and you can figure out a lot of songs. And if you're trying to play along with this song, these are likely chords to look for. And if you want to play in a different key like A or E, you could just capo then. So if you wanted to play in the key of E, you could capo the 2nd fret and play in D. Helps you put the capo on a little better than that. There we go. And if you wanted to play in the key of A, capo 2 and play in G. Play the G shapes. And if you capoed 2 and played in C, you'd actually be playing in D. And then from there, you just need to figure out what key you want to play in, and then also understand, what chord shapes to use. All right, I hope that helps.